You ever hear a rider say, "Man, my bike just isn't fast enough"? Yeah, no, that's not the problem, Chief. Truth is, 99% of the time, it's not the machine holding you back, it's the meat puppet on top of it. You could have a Panigale V4S and still get smoked by a grandma on a Ninja 400 if she actually knows how to ride. Being fast isn't about twisting the throttle harder. It's about how you move, how you think, how you flow. And most riders never even scratch the surface of that. If you're blaming your bike for being slow, uncomfortable, or twitchy in corners, maybe it's time to look in the mirror. Because the harsh reality is this: you're probably slower than you think, and your habits are what's killing your speed. Let's break it down. 13 real reasons why your pace sucks, and none of them are spelled Y-A-M-A-H-A. Number 1. Poor body position. When your body's fighting the bike, you're always gonna lose. Stiff arms, locked knees, upright torso. This isn't a wrestling match. It's a ballet. You're supposed to flow with the machine, not clamp onto it like it owes you money. A lot of riders think speed comes from the throttle, but the real secret's in how you move. Your upper body should be loose, elbows bent, your weight shifted into the turn, not sitting dead center like you're at a red light. Your feet, they should be anchored on the balls, not the arches. When you position yourself right, the bike becomes an extension of your body. When you don't, you're just along for a sketchy ride. Watch any fast rider. They're not muscling the bike around, they're dancing with it. Smooth, fluid, precise. If you're stiff, your reactions are slow. You hesitate. You fight feedback instead of using it. And all that adds up to being slow, scared, and sloppy. Fix your body position and suddenly corners open up. Grip improves. The bike stops wobbling mid-turn. Everything feels easier, not because the bike changed, but because you did. Forget horsepower. Start with posture. Because until you do, you'll always be holding yourself back. Number 2. Target fixation. This one's a classic mistake, and it happens faster than you think. You're riding, feeling good, and suddenly there's gravel in the turn, or a pothole, or some squirrel playing chicken. And what do your eyes do? They lock on. You stare straight at the thing you want to avoid. And guess what happens next? You hit it. Every damn time. That's not bad luck. That's physics mixed with bad instincts. Your bike follows your vision, not your handlebars, not your prayers. Wherever your eyes go, your brain and body follow. If you're fixated on a problem, you become part of it. It's especially deadly in corners. You see the edge of the road creeping up and panic. You stare at it like it's calling your name, and boom, you run wide, blow your line, and maybe end up in the bushes. Not because you were too fast, but because you were too focused on the wrong thing. The fix? Train your eyes to look through the corner. Always. Even if it's tight. Even if there's crap on the road. Find the exit and aim for it. Your hands will follow. You can't ride faster until you stop staring at your fears. Look up. Look ahead. Trust your brain to do the rest. Number 3. Over-braking or braking too late. Speed doesn't come from bravery. It comes from control. And control starts before the corner. But too many riders think they're being fast by charging into every bend like it's their final lap at Mugello. They wait too long to brake, panic when the turn shows up, grab a fistful of lever, and then wonder why the bike feels like it's fighting back. Late braking is a trap. It looks aggressive on paper, but unless you got pro-level reflexes and track tires, it just ruins your setup. You end up diving into corners with a loaded front end, no time to adjust your line, and no smooth entry to build speed off. And if you're the kind who brakes too much out of fear, same problem. You kill your corner speed before you even lean in. You coast through like your brakes are still half on, and the guy behind you, on a 30-year-old Ninja, glides by like you're parked. Here's the truth. Fast cornering starts with predictable, smooth braking before the turn. Get your speed sorted early, get the bike stable, and then commit. Don't wait until the guardrail's whispering in your ear. Smooth in, fast out. That's not just advice. It's gospel for every fast rider who makes it home. Number 4. Riding tense and stiff. You can spot a nervous rider from a mile away. Locked elbows, hunched shoulders, death grip on the bars like they're holding on for dear life. And here's the thing. The tenser you are, the slower you ride. Because a tense rider fights the bike instead of flowing with it. And motorcycles don't respond well to being manhandled. When your arms are rigid, your inputs become jerky. When your back is stiff, you can't shift your weight naturally. And when your grip is so tight it cuts off circulation, your hands stop feeling the bars altogether. You become a passenger on your own bike, and not a good one. Tension also destroys reaction time. You're slower to adjust mid-corner, slower to correct a mistake, and slower to get back on the gas. Every little change becomes a battle, and worst of all, your brain follows your body. When you're stiff, your mind gets cautious, overcalculates, and loses the instinctive rhythm that real speed requires. The fastest riders look lazy because they're loose. Relaxed arms, fluid body, easy grip. They let the bike dance underneath them instead of trying to muscle it into submission. If you're riding like a brick, you're not fast. You're just a crash waiting to happen at half the speed. Number 5. Fear of lean angle. Here's the brutal truth. Most riders never come anywhere near the maximum lean their tires or bikes can handle. Not even close. They bail out early, not because the bike gave up, but because their brain did. It's not a traction limit, it's a confidence limit. And that fear, it's the silent anchor slowing you down every single corner. You roll into a bend, and as soon as the bike starts to dip, something inside screams, "Too far!" So you back off. You stand the bike up early, you brake mid-turn, you adjust your line when it's already too late. Not because the tire was slipping, but because you felt like it might. That feeling? It's a lie, a mental governor choking your potential. Modern tires are shockingly capable. Even budget rubber on a commuter bike can handle lean angles that most riders will never reach, especially on the street. But that doesn't matter if your head can't let go of the fear. The only way through it? Trust. Gradual, deliberate, repeated trust. Want to go faster? Get comfortable leaning more. Not recklessly, deliberately. Practice smooth inputs. Practice weight shifting. Learn what the bike feels like at deeper lean angles. Once your brain stops flinching at the sight of tarmac near your face, the real speed starts. Number 6. Not trusting the tires. This one's personal, because every single rider at some point has looked at their tires and thought, "Can you actually hold me up through that corner?" And when that doubt creeps in, your speed disappears. You roll off early, you avoid lean, you hesitate on throttle. And suddenly your 600cc sport bike is getting outrun by a guy on a 250 with confidence. Here's the truth. Unless your tires are bald, freezing cold, or made of 1990s rubber, they're probably better than you are. Modern compounds grip like Velcro, even in the rain. But they only work if you trust them enough to let them do their job. If you tiptoe into every corner like the road's coated in baby oil, the tires can't generate the heat or pressure they need to grip. It's a vicious cycle. Lack of trust slows everything down. Your inputs become tentative, your lines get sloppy, and your feedback loop, what you feel from the bike, gets buried under anxiety. Confidence isn't about pretending you're invincible. It's about understanding the limits and riding just below them, not miles beneath them out of fear. So if you want to be faster, start here. Believe in your rubber, warm it up, ride clean, and stop treating every corner like it's a death trap. Number 7. Choppy throttle control. Here's a secret most slow riders don't even realize. They're jerky as hell. Their throttle hand is basically a panic switch. On off, like they're trying to drive a light switch instead of a machine. And that single habit ruins everything. Your line, your suspension, your grip, and your speed. Smooth throttle isn't just about comfort, it's the glue that holds your whole ride together. When you crack it on gently through a corner, the weight shifts to the rear, the suspension settles, and the tire digs in. You get drive, stability, and confidence. But if you snap it on like you're trying to outrun a cop, the bike gets unsettled, your line widens, and you either back off or crash. Same thing goes for chop and throttle mid-turn. It throws weight forward, compresses the fork, lightens the rear, and unsettles your whole chassis. It's like stomping the brakes with your right hand. Your bike panics, and so do you. The fastest riders aren't the wildest. They're the smoothest. Their inputs are like flowing water. No hesitation, no jerks. Just calm, deliberate motion. You don't need more power to be fast. You need more finesse. So stop flicking the switch and start rolling it on like you mean it. Your bike and your lap times will thank you. Number 8. No visual planning. Looking too close. You ever wonder why the road always surprises you? Like every corner sneaks up, every bump catches you off guard, and you're always reacting instead of anticipating. That's because you're looking 5 feet ahead, like a Roomba with handlebars. Slow riders don't scan, they stare, usually straight down, right in front of their wheel, and when you're looking that close, you leave yourself zero time to plan. The turn is already happening before your brain even registers it, and now you're late, offline, and nervous. Fast riders, they look way ahead, not just the entrance of the turn, but the exit. They see traffic movement, road surface changes, where the curve opens up. Their brain gets a head start, so by the time they arrive, they're ready. That's what makes them look smooth. It's not reflexes, it's planning. And it's not just in corners. Good riders scan through intersections, over hills, around blind bends. They're like radar dishes and helmets, because the further you look, the slower everything feels. It gives you time, and time equals confidence. Confidence equals speed. So, if you're crawling around corners and blaming your tires, your bike, or your courage, it might just be your eyes. Lift your chin, look where you want to go, and let your bike follow. Number 9. Inconsistent corner entry speed. This is where a lot of riders accidentally tell on themselves. One corner, you fly in hot like a MotoGP wildcard. The next, you tiptoe through it like your grandma's asleep in the apex. The problem? You're not building rhythm. And without rhythm, you're never going to be fast. Inconsistent corner entry speed is the curse of the unsure rider. You're constantly guessing. Sometimes you brake too early and crawl in. Other times, you think you've got it and brake too late, throwing yourself offline and scrambling to recover. Either way, your brain never builds trust because every corner feels like a new gamble. Speed isn't about bravery. It's about predictability. Fast riders know their entry speed before they even get there. They scan the turn, set their speed early, and commit to the line. That consistency is what allows them to flow, to lean confidently, to roll on throttle mid-turn without drama. If you're all over the place, the fix isn't go faster. It's get consistent. Find a safe road or track. Practice entry speed on familiar curves. Brake earlier than you think, then gradually bring it back until it feels smooth. Get your timing right. Once your body stops flinching into corners, your speed will come naturally. Number 10. Ignoring body fit or ergonomics. You ever try to run a race in shoes that don't fit? That's what riding a bike with bad ergonomics is like, except now you're doing it at 60 miles an hour, leaning into corners and trying not to die. If your bars are too far, your seat's angled wrong, or your legs are cramped up like a folding chair, you're not just uncomfortable, you're slow. When your bike doesn't fit you, every movement becomes inefficient. Instead of shifting your weight with subtlety, you're wrestling the tank with your knees or yanking the bars with tired arms. Your focus isn't on the road, it's on your wrist cramps, your numb butt, or how your neck feels like a Jenga tower about to collapse. Speed requires flow. Flow comes from comfort. It doesn't mean plushy touring comfort. It means control without resistance. Your body should fall into position when you lean, not fight against it. Your feet should reach the pegs cleanly. Your elbows should bend naturally. If any part of your posture feels forced, your speed will suffer. Don't just suffer through it. Adjust it. Move your bars. Try different levers. Change the seat or foot pegs. It's not about being picky. It's about performance. When your bike fits your body like a glove, everything clicks. And suddenly, you're not fighting for control. You're dancing. Number 11. Mental block from a past crash or close call. Speed isn't just physical. It's psychological. And nothing messes with your head more than a close call you never really recovered from. Maybe you low-slided in the rain. Maybe a deer jumped out or some texting minivan nearly clipped you. Doesn't matter. If your brain still flinches every time you lean, you're carrying baggage that's slowing you down. The problem is, your body remembers fear even when the road looks safe. You tense up before every turn. You brake early. You second-guess throttle input. And every time the tires slip just a little, even when it's normal, you panic like it's happening all over again. That hesitation kills flow, and once you lose flow, speed's out the window. You're not broken. You're just human. But you need to face it. Start slow. Go back to empty lots. Rebuild the trust with your machine. Understand what happened in that crash or scare. Don't just bury it. If you lost the front because you panic braked mid-corner, practice smoother inputs. If you ran wide, focus on your lines. The longer you avoid it, the deeper the fear digs in. But once you face it, dissect it, and ride through it, you'll come out not just faster, but smarter. Because fast doesn't mean fearless. It means recovered. Number 12. Bad line selection. You can have the perfect throttle hand, smooth body position, and nerves of steel. But if you pick the wrong line through a corner, you're still gonna be slow. Most amateur riders ride like they're tracing a lazy arc with crayons. Wide on entry, wide in the middle, wide on exit. And they wonder why every curve feels sketchy or forces them to chop throttle mid-turn. A good line sets you up for speed before you even lean. It widens your view, reduces lean angle, and lets you accelerate sooner. But bad line selection turns every corner into a survival test, and you're riding your luck instead of riding the road. You don't need to race to think about lines. Start looking at every turn as a puzzle. Where's the entry point that lets me see furthest ahead? Where's the apex that keeps the bike stable? Where can I stand it up and get on the gas? It's not about memorizing one perfect path. It's about reading the road and making small decisions that add up to flow. Because once your line is right, the rest of your riding becomes way easier and a hell of a lot faster. Get lazy with your lines and you'll always be chasing speed instead of finding it. Number 13. Over-reliance on electronics or rider aids. Here's the thing, rider aids are amazing when used as a backup. But the moment you treat them like a substitute for skill, you've already slowed yourself down. ABS, traction control, ride modes, they're designed to help good riding, not replace it. And too many riders lean on them like training wheels that never come off. Relying on ABS to save you from every braking mistake? That means you're never learning how to modulate pressure or read road feel. Using traction control to power out of every corner without worrying about grip? You're not developing real throttle discipline. And toggling through ride modes like a DJ mid-ride just tells me you're tuning the bike more than you're tuning yourself. The fastest riders in the world, they can ride fast without the tech. The electronics just give them a bit more edge after the fundamentals are mastered. So if you want to be quick, stop treating your bike like it's doing the work for you. Learn what the aids actually do, ride with them turned down, and see where your instincts kick in. You'll discover where your skills end, and that's where real progress begins. Rider aids should be your safety net, not your speed strategy. You're not as fast as you think, and that's okay. Because speed isn't just about twisting the throttle. It's about trust, body control, mental clarity, and experience. Most of the things holding you back aren't on the spec sheet. They're in your habits, your fear, or your lack of awareness. But the good news? Every one of those things can be fixed. Slowly, deliberately, with a little humility and a lot of seat time. Forget chasing horsepower numbers or blaming your tires. Start by fixing you. If any of this hit home, drop a comment. What's the one thing you're working on right now to get better? And if this made you think twice about how you ride, hit that like button, share it with your riding crew, and subscribe so we can keep sharpening each other. Ride smart, ride smooth. See you in the next one.